Last time I looked at the theory behind calculating the portfolio standard deviation, which in turn will allow us to calculate the value at risk for a portfolio. Today I put that into practice using an example in Excel. Stay tuned. Darwinex is a UK FCA regulated broker and asset manager on a mission to disrupt the financial trading, investing and asset management industries. If you're a talented trader looking to attract investor capital to your strategies, Darwinex is the fastest way for you to do this. We enable traders to raise third-party investor capital and then charge success fees on high watermark profits. Additionally, Darwinex itself invests in its traders with our seed capital allocation program that allocates up to 90 million euros per year in successful trading strategies. So, if all of that sounds interesting, learn more by clicking on the link here, or you can find further links in the description right below. Now back to today's tutorial. I always consider that it helps with understanding to construct models in a spreadsheet before attempting to code them. And that is exactly what I'll be doing today before we move on to coding this in MQL5 next time. So let's take a look. So you'll remember last time I looked at the difference between calculating value at risk for a position compared with value at risk for a portfolio. In the first instance, just two positions. And I talked about where the main difference was with the standard deviation calculation. And I took a closer look at how to calculate this for a portfolio, which is the calculation we have here. Now, if you haven't seen that episode, I recommend you do watch it. You can find all of the episodes in this series by going down to the description below this video and clicking on a link to the playlist. And there you'll see all of the episodes in order. But assuming you did watch that, let's now take a look at how this can be implemented in Excel. So when we did this before for a single asset, we used Aussie CAD as shown here on the left. And I showed you how we could calculate the standard deviation and the value at risk in Excel. So because we're now looking at two positions, I've added another one here for pound CAD, taken the same number of daily values here, and if you remember, we don't want to calculate the standard deviation of the close prices, we want to calculate the standard deviation of the daily returns, or the returns in whichever period we're choosing to use. So each of these values here are simply the current value divided by the previous value minus 1, which when shown in percentage terms tells us how much that went up or down within that 1 day period. So these are now the values here that we want to calculate our standard deviation on. So we can do that very easily in Excel by choosing the standard deviation of a sample, choosing the values that we want, and it's as simple as that. So we can see here that the standard deviation for pound CAD is slightly more than for Aussie CAD, which tells us that this is a slightly more volatile asset. And because of that, of course, this will contribute more risk to any portfolio that it is in compared to Aussie CAD. And then just so that we've got a value here for the single asset value at risk, if you remember, this is just the Z-score, which is 1.65. multiplied by the standard deviation here, multiplied by the monetary amount that we have in a particular asset. And here I've just used the example of £10,000. And so here we can see that the value at risk is £63.07. And as we said, that's more than it was for Aussie CAD because of that increased volatility. And so by using that Z-score of 1.65, that gives us a 5% left-hand tail of risk. So this means that by holding this monetary value in this particular position, then 1 in 20 days, or 5% of the days, we can expect a loss of £63 or more. And then for the other 19 out of 20 days, it will be a smaller loss or indeed a positive return. Okay, so we have our two assets now that we're going to use to calculate the portfolio standard deviation. And I'm going to place the formula for that we looked at in the previous episode here so that we can use this as the basis for our Excel calculation. So the first thing I'm going to do is to calculate a value for rho here, which if you remember is the correlation between the two assets. And again, we can take advantage of a built-in Excel function to help us to do this, which is just the correl function, and we choose the returns from one of those assets, and the second parameter is the return from the other. And so this is our correlation, 0.324. Now remember, this is a value that will range between -1 and +1. -1 means that the two assets are entirely negatively correlated. So if one goes up, the other goes down and vice versa. Whereas a value of 1 tells us they're perfectly correlated, which means they'll both go up at the same time, both go down at the same time. So here we see that we do have a positive correlation, and that will almost certainly be because they share this Canadian dollar component in both of the assets. So clearly there's going to be some correlation there. And so we've now calculated the value for rho that we need in our main calculation here for the portfolio standard deviation. So next I'm going to calculate the weighting values, which we see here, here, and here. So we need to do this for each of the positions that we're holding. And the weightings, if you remember, have to add up to 1. And so the way we calculate those is by looking at the proportion of the monetary value of each of the positions compared to the total. And so in this case, the weighting for Aussie CAD is simply 10,000 divided by the total, which is 20. And the weighting for pound CAD is this value here divided by the 20. And so because we've got equal values here, of course we have 0.5 and 0.5. If instead we change one of these values, let's say to 15,000, then the ratios change, but you'll notice they still add up to 1. And then the other components of this formula, which are the sigmas that you see here, here, and here, all relate to the individual position standard deviation, which of course we already have here and here. So now we've got all of the individual values that we need to perform our calculation. So let's go ahead and do that. So you'll notice that the entire calculation is within a square root. So we're going to start off with the square root function here. And then we have weight 1 squared. So for weight 1, we'll use the Aussie CAD weighting. So this multiplied by itself, and that then gets multiplied by the standard deviation of Aussie CAD, which of course is this value here, and that is squared as well. So we'll just put that into its own brackets here. Then we have the same for the second weighting, which is this multiplied by itself, multiplied by the standard deviation for pound CAD, and squared. So that's the first two terms taken care of. And then the final term here is 2 multiplied by weight 1 multiplied by weight 2 multiplied by the correlation, which of course we've just calculated here, multiplied by the standard deviation of position 1, which is this value, multiplied by the standard deviation of position 2. And so one more closing bracket for the square root there, and that should give us our value of the standard deviation of this 2 asset portfolio. Now this is displayed as a ratio at the moment, but we can display that as a percentage as shown here. So let's take a look at how this compares with the standard deviation of the individual positions that we had previously. And the first thing you'll notice is that it's less than these. So what that means is that the volatility of the portfolio has been reduced as a result of trading both of these positions together. And this is the power of diversification and having diversified assets within a portfolio. So let's go ahead now and calculate the value at risk for this 2-asset portfolio. And if you remember, this is 1.65, which is the Z-score, multiplied by the standard deviation of the portfolio, multiplied by the total investment amount, which is 25,000 here. And so we can see it's £113.90. And if we just compare that to the sum of the individual value at risks, if we were holding these on their own, we can see here that's 139. So in other words, the value at risk has been reduced, again, because of that diversification we've introduced. Now, I'm just going to play about with these numbers a little bit, just to illustrate the power of the correlation between these 2 assets and what the effect is that that has. So I'm just going to copy the formula for that and place it here to keep that safe, and then I'm going to manually override the correlation. So first of all, I'm going to override this with a value of 1. Now, that value of 1 means that the 2 assets would be perfectly correlated. And if I go ahead and do that now, look what happens. The VaR for the portfolio is now 139.68, which is exactly the same as the sum of the value at risks for the 2 individual positions. And so that kind of makes common sense. If we now change this to a correlation of 0, meaning there's no correlation whatsoever, we see that the value at risk of the portfolio has now been reduced even further from when we had this value of 0.32. So let's now go to the extreme of a correlation of -1, which means they're effectively negatively correlated. And look what's happened now. We've reduced the risk of the portfolio to £13. And again, this makes absolute sense, because if one position is going up here, the other is going down. And so that's really minimized any risk on the account. The reason this isn't 0 is because, firstly, we've got different monetary amounts invested in these, so there is a bias towards Aussie CAD. But the other reason, of course, is because we have different volatilities or standard deviations for each of those. So each one is moving with a different level of volatility. But even with those differences, you can still see the dramatic effect this has of reducing risk. But I'm just going to give you a very quick clue now in terms of how we can really turn this to our advantage. We can actually adjust position sizing of each position within a portfolio to reduce the value at risk as much as possible. So let me just give you a very quick example. If we change the £15,000 monetary value here to, let's say, 13,000, we've now reduced the VaR for the portfolio even further to just £3. Now, this is using an extreme example with a correlation of -1, but the same principle applies even when we have normal correlation values. We can still adjust those position values in order to minimize that risk. Now, in the next episode in the series, we'll take this on one stage further and replicate what we've done in Excel today, but in MQL5 code. And the first stage of that will be calculating the correlation coefficient, which is what we did first today in Excel. And then in the episode that follows, we'll complete the value at risk for the portfolio calculation. Okay, so please do remember to subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get notified when that next episode and future episodes get released. But now, until next time, trade safe.